them whatever they are doing it actually. And Hardik Pandya, recent time I heard about him is he is being compared with the legend Kapil Dev. So he has come to that stage of stages he has gone. So he should be aware of it that he is being part of the World Cup. That is a very pride actually. As a matter of fact, we can see a lot of youngsters are following them, and whatever he has told, that has to be very effective. And BCCI definitely they have taken a step. It is not a hard step actually. This is a step has taken so that in future, this type of things should not happen. They are cautioned him actually. That's what I want to say. That's it from my side right now.
No, but that brings me to the other question. Let me bring in Vishan Jaswant on this. Vishan, you've heard what the discourse has been all day today. There have been reactions and multiple reactions, and then comes the suspension order. But do you think that the BCCI, Vishan, has been overreacting on this matter, or are they just doing what they need to do?
I'm quite comfortable with BCCI's action that has been taken so far. I don't think they are overreacting. This is something that the BCCI could not have taken lying down and been quiet about, because it would have sent the wrong message. These are persons in a public position, in public eye, and therefore it's important to hold them to a higher standard. Therefore, to that extent, I'm glad that the BCCI has done what they have. So far what has been announced is only an interim measure, and after analysis of the constitution, of the players' contracts and the code of conduct, I'm sure BCCI will eventually come out with a final sanction, which I hope is not too grave and not too lenient and just right. All of that said, imposing sanctions is fine, issuing a show cause is fine, but I hope the BCCI do recognize the underlying issue here, which needs to be addressed, which is that players needs to be sensitized, trained and coached in how they should handle the media in casual, informal situations. These are, after all, cricketers and not film stars or TV stars, and they may not inherently or naturally know how to deal with the media in these situations. So while Hardik's actions are of course inappropriate, cringeworthy and crass, the learning from the BCCI here should also be that going forward it should be ensured that players are appropriately coached and trained.
Right, but you talked about, Vishan, just stay on with us, I'll come back to you again, but you talked about, film stars. You said in sports, these are sports personalities, they need to realize and they need to know how to conduct themselves. They are not film stars that they can get away with anything, but can they? That's the big question. Dr. Syed Abbas, the film fraternity, which was rocked by the Me Too campaign, where one after the other, the names started tumbling out of the closet. The fact is that it has been completely silent. Not a word of condemnation, Dr. Abbas, has come in from anyone within the film fraternity condemning or asking Karan Johar to tender an apology. Karan Johar has maintained stoic silence. What does this really tell us? Does it expose, in a way, our double standards? That while, all film stars could actually find time to come down to Delhi and get themselves clicked with the Prime Minister and make that photo viral, it's all over Twitter. At the same time, we see that, Karan Johar, who was also there, did not spare even 1 minute to tender an apology to say that, look, I too got carried away. I possibly shouldn't have asked those questions.
Sarvasanian Sahab, I couldn't agree with you more here. Let's first, with my opening comments, I'd like to say, what is the format of the show Coffee with Karan? It starts with the camera zoning into stop making sense. I think that summarizes the show the way it is, the obnoxious questions and the equally ridiculous answers. And now coming to Karan Johar's front and Hardik Pandya. I would give benefit of doubt to KL Rahul. He was on the back foot, 1 or 2 statements which were meager. But Pandya, what was he doing on the show? Absolutely misogynist, his behavior. I think like even his parents would be feeling, cringing watching that show. Along with that, I'd also like to say, Prime Minister Modi invites Karan Johar to come meet, take a selfie, and the industry and the team. With this kind of a show, with this kind of a format, it's like you said, there had to be an apology from Karan Johar as well. Because cricket, we take pride. We belong to Karnataka. The lights and disciplines and principles of Rahul Dravid, Javagal Srinath, and also the jumbo, Anil Kumble. looking at that format.
Yes, and these are role models. Cricketers are role models for hundreds and thousands of young children who look up to them. India as a country as a whole looks up to these people as idols.
Responsible.
Yes, but having said that, so it's all the more important. It's all the more important. Brinda Adige, please come in. Isn't it all the more important at this point in time that as a responsible filmmaker who's looked up to from people from across the different age groups, pan-India, that Karan Johar too comes out, or the film fraternity, voices from within the film fraternity come out and tell him that look, what you've done is not quite right and you need to tender an apology.
You're absolutely right. Karan Johar should become responsible and tender that apology, and also change his way of interviewing people, including the entire film fraternity. How is it that they are so silent? Just because he has to raise his TRP, does he want to ask this kind of humiliating women and obnoxious questioning, and says that he can get away with it, absolving himself because his TRP has gone up? And so, like you said, maintaining a silence, and says this will die down. This is exactly what it should not happen. He should apologize, and we should go on hammering him to say, you apologize. You have a responsibility, you apologize.
But this also brings us to the larger question.
I think adding on
while
to
we,
what
Avnish, and I would like to bring you in, while we dissect the quantum of punishment that has been meted out in a way, just a moment, Dr. Abbas, while we talk about the quantum of punishment for now and how pending an inquiry that they have been asked to leave for India, you know, in a way, when we're talking of people who are role models for hundreds and thousands of little children across the country, Avnish, doesn't this also call for introspection? Are cricketers then being seen as soft targets that, you know, they just went into the trap, they walked into the trap, so to say? So somewhere down the line, while we are asking for an apology as far as Karan Johar is concerned, and asking the film fraternity to break its silence, Avnish, isn't it also imperative that there should be some kind of a monitoring, so to say, of what goes on air, what format of shows can go on air or not?
Absolutely, but again, we live in a democratic world here in India, and people, in particular Karan Johar, has been dishing out the show for about 5 to 6 years now. I think no person or probably celebrity on the show has garnered so much controversy like KL and Pandya. It comes back to the fact that they're cricketers, like I said before, because that show is dubious in nature, and the nature of the show in many ways, I mean, even in his rapid fire question, sort of, you can clearly see that he's trying to get a headline out of there, some sort of gossip, by pitting them against the certain actresses. So clearly he was trying to get lots of gossip out of the cricketers. Now, Hardik Pandya, you have to know about the man, because let me just finish quickly, because of the fact that he is very carefree,
and I couldn't agree more. While we all agree on one point in time, you know, here, all of us, we agree on one fact, that what they did was absolutely reprehensible, misogynistic and sexist. But at the same time, the anchor and the show producer are equally culpable for what has gone on air. And that is where Karan Johar cannot possibly wash off its hands. I must thank all of you for joining me on the broadcast. I have to wrap this up slightly early because there's some breaking information coming in on our screens at this point in time.